In our last section on Prezi, we'll take a look at frames, some alternate design issues, and then speak a little bit about layers. You'll notice on the right-hand side of the presentation here, where I have the photos and video from the 2004 American League Championship Series, I have a blue frame around the images and video. Frames allow you to do two things. First, they allow you to move groups of objects much more easily. For example, if I click on the frame here and drag it, everything inside the frame comes with it. This makes it easier to move entire sections of presentations around as you're preparing them. Also, by putting a path onto the frame itself, which will recenter on the middle of it, when I click in the path, it will show everything inside that frame in one clean screen. So it's a good way to show groups of images and information at the same time as well. So frames are good for moving information and items. They're also good for showing groups of information and items. Now, let's take a look how we might use this in this bottom right-hand section. By the way, in case you haven't figured it out yet, I can move the entire canvas by clicking on anywhere that's not an item and just dragging my mouse back and forth. Here I've added some pictures from another amazing moment in Yankee history, the 2004 World Series, specifically Game 7, when the Diamondbacks came back and beat the Yankees to win the World Series and send the Yankees to a World Series defeat. Now, with these three images in this YouTube video, I might be tempted to do the same thing I did from the 2004 American League Championship Series. In other words, put them all beside each other. But Prezi has layers. So instead of putting them all beside each other, what I might do is to grab one of these items. Excuse me, I'm still in the path here. Grab one of these items, move it up here. Let's resize it a little bit. And instead of putting the items at different sizes, I can then put these other items inside this larger picture and use this as kind of a frame for this whole slide. So I can use a photo as a frame for a slide. This allows me to layer things on top of each other and give things a different look. Now I could play around with this for a while, but I'll just do this simple one for right now. Let's put this picture up in the top left corner here. And now I'll bring 2004 World Series up here. That's a little dark, so I'm going to double click on it. Double click on it again to select all the text, and let's change it to yellow so it'll be easier to see. Now I've got a different look to my presentation. I've used an image as a background. If I want to, in order to help move these things around a little bit, I could come in and I could put a frame around this. To put a frame around it, you click on Frame while you're in the editing mode, and you pick from one of four different types of frames: bracketed frame, circular frame, rectangular frame. And oftentimes what's helpful, if you don't want to show the frame to your viewers, but you want to use the functionality of a frame to both display groups of items and to move groups of items around, you can click on a hidden frame. I'm going to keep things the same for the element of repetition. I'm just going to put a frame around this entire section here. Now, you'll notice that I might have made it a little bit too small. I can still click on things and move everything inside it, but I would like this to be a little bit bigger. This creates a problem because if I click on the frame and I go to make something bigger or smaller, everything inside of it gets bigger and smaller at the same time. So how do I resize a frame? To resize a frame, you just double click on the frame. That gives you some corners where you can tweak the size of it. Click away. Click on the frame. Now I can move things around a little bit. Resize it just a little bit to get those lines nice and clean. Oops. And now, that's close enough for now. Now I've got a quite different look. I can create different elements in this path, but I've used the layering feature inside of Prezi to give a different look to my slide. Used a frame so I can group and move around the objects inside of it very easily and resize things as well. Lastly, if you find yourself struggling with layers, you can right-click on any object and move it backwards or forwards in your presentation. So if I right-click on this main picture and send to back or bring to front, everything else behind it's hidden. So sometimes you need to use the layering feature to be able to reorganize items as well.